A beautiful night for baseball as the Phillies return home off this road trip in which they went 5-2. They get set to take on the Miami Marlins. It's game one of a 4-game series here tonight from Citizens Bank Park. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy along with Matt Stairs, back from the Northern Territory of Canada as we get set for the Phils returning home to take on the Miami Marlins. It's a huge series for the Phils on the heels of a great ceremony honoring Jimmy Rollins for becoming the all-time hits leader in Phillies history.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was fun to watch and well-deserved for Jimmy Rollins. You can see the smile from the day he signed to the smile when he went out there and addressed the fans. It was a great ceremony.
Well, we'll talk more about it. You just saw coverage on Comcast Sportsnet. Great words from Jimmy Rollins thanking everyone, including, of course, the Phillies fans for embracing he and his family. But as he said, now let's play some baseball. And that's what the Phillies are hoping to do, is play baseball like they played on this road trip. They find themselves at 16-21 here at home, Matt. One game under 500 on the road, but they've got to get all those numbers to the left up if they're going to have any kind of success.
They really do, and they need to settle down a little bit when they're hitting. It seems like they're going out of their strike zone a little bit and swinging at the pitcher's pitch. And from what I've noticed, they just have to rely on the guy behind them to help pick them up. And on the road, it's a totally different approach. They're seeing pitches, they're working the count. Now let's just carry over to this homestand and keep on rolling.
I don't know if you agree with this or not, but Ryan Sandberg was saying today they have to score runs early here at home because that seemed to add a little life to the bench when they did it on the road.
And that makes a lot of sense, especially when you're scoring early and it seems like you're jumping out and putting the pressure on the other team. But hopefully they get out to an early lead tonight.
All right, so the Phillies have taken the field, getting set to take on the Marlins in game one of this 4-game series. Let's take a look at the Marlins starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Jake Marisnick will lead it off at center field, then Derek Dietrich and Giancarlo Stanton. Casey McGee's at third base. He'll bat cleanup. Jared Saltalamacchia, the catcher, hits fifth. Batting sixth, the left fielder Marcell Ozuna. At first base, hitting seventh is Garrett Jones. Shortstop Ed Lucas will bat eighth, and batting ninth and pitching is Nate Eovaldi. And on the mound for the Phillies is right-hander Roberto Hernandez, 33 years old. Hernandez making his 14th start. Matty had to lose about 15 pounds the other day when he pitched in Atlanta. 6 innings. Battled through 6, allowed 5 runs, but still stuck around for the victory.
Yeah, and it seems like he's going to lose a lot of weight every time he pitches because it seems like he's out there battling, throwing a lot of pitches. He just needs to go out tonight and throw strikes and rely on his fastball to have that good movement and get those ground balls to his infielders. And as you can see by our Budweiser scouting report, he throws 90 to 94 mile-an-hour fastball, changeup. His slider he throws a remarkably 1%. So I'd like to see him start mixing in more sliders. But you see he's had a pretty good career so far, 1-1 with a 1.72 ERA.
Well, it's time now for our Nissan keys to tonight's ball game.
Well, Ryan Howard swung the bat extremely well this road trip, and I'd like to see him carry it over to this homestand and get his average up over the Mendoza line and start swinging the bat better. And also the Phillies build off a very good road trip and keep it rolling.
Well, they'll keep it rolling, and they'll face a Marlins team that's struggling somewhat lately. They'll begin with Jake Marisnick leading it off, the center fielder. Marisnick hitting .250 on the year. He has spent most of the time down in the minor leagues this year. He's up playing center field because of a back injury to Christian Yelich. And the first pitch of the night is in there for a strike, so we're underway. It's 0-1. Marisnick was 1 for 10 in the series against the Mets. He struck out 6 times. Ground ball foul, and it's 0-2. This umpires for tonight's ball game. Behind the plate is Tony Randazzo. Over at first is David Rackley. Jim Wolf is at second, and Brian Gorman is the crew chief around at third. No balls and 2 strikes to Marisnick. Up high, 1-2. The Marlins are 4th in the league in scoring runs, but they also strike out a lot. In fact, they have struck out a lot here in the month of June. Part of the reason why their record is below 500 here in the month of June. Chopper foul again past Brett Butler. Marlins are a very good team at home, but they've struggled on the road. You would expect there would be some struggles for teams on the road, but they're 12-20 on the road.
Yeah, you wouldn't think the split would be that big, and you wouldn't think that the home cooking would make that big of a deal, but apparently it does.
Check swing, foul ball. Mike Redmond, the manager for the Miami Marlins in his second year. On ball, 2 strikes to Marisnick. It'll be Marisnick, then Derek Dietrich and Giancarlo Stanton. Out towards shortstop, Rollins, appropriately enough, with the first out of the night. Now you take a look at the Marlins home road. We compare that like we did with the Phillies, and we mentioned they're very good at home, 25-18, although that record's even gone down recently. But just 12-20 on the road. The ERA is over a run higher on the road.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. It seems like they're trying to battle back. They're getting down early in the game, and besides Stanton in that lineup, they don't have a lot of thunder to get back in with that one swing. So it's hard to figure out at times why you play so well at home and bad on the road, or vice versa, because you're the same team. I mean, you're taking the same approach, but it's baseball.
Here's Derek Dietrich. Dietrich was hitting .340 in AAA. First pitch is over for a strike. It's 0-1. They brought him back up when Rafael Furcal went on the DL. He'll be followed by Giancarlo Stanton. No balls, 1 strike. 0-2. Roberto in his last outing allowed 8 hits and 5 runs. The Phillies wound up winning that ball game 10-5. In the dirt, and 1 ball and 2 strikes. Matt, you have any theories as to why he doesn't throw his changeup or his slider more often?
He doesn't trust it. I think, I mean, really, if you look at the numbers, I mean, Hernandez has a good fastball and a good changeup, but teams are hitting .348 against the slider, so I just don't think he knows really how to bury that to the back foot against left-handers.
Well, there is the changeup, and it's hit foul. Because these first 2 batters have fouled a few pitches off. If he had that 3rd pitch, it might be of assistance to him. Right,
and as a hitter, all you're doing is sitting in that batter's box, and now you're looking for one area, because you can make the adjustment between an 84, 85 mile an hour changeup to a 91, 92 mile an hour fastball. But now all of a sudden, if you throw that little wrinkle in it with a slider, now you're thinking 3 pitches instead of 2.
That one's pulled to the right side, past the diving upward, and a base hit for Dietrich. Well, that was the changeup, and Dietrich was able to get the bat head out. So the first hit of the night goes to Derek Dietrich.
That's just another changeup, and Chase makes a nice try for a dive and catch, but he just has to start mixing in that slider. It doesn't matter if you throw it for a ball, just throw it to that back foot, see if they can get some swings over top of it, and now all of a sudden the hitters are thinking, okay, now I got to protect on 3 pitches instead of 2.
Well, anytime Giancarlo Stanton comes up, it's a dangerous time in the game, particularly when there's base runners on. Stanton is the league leader in home runs with 20, the league leader in RBIs with 58. Surprisingly, he has never faced Roberto Hernandez. And he takes a pitch inside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Carlos Ruiz out to the mound to chat with Roberto. Same spot. He missed again. It's 2-0. took his bat. Pop up over to the first base dugout, and nobody can get there in time. Ball just wasn't hit high enough. Ryan Howard made a sliding attempt. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
No, and good effort by Ryan, but when you get jammed that bad and a big man hit that ball, you know you got in that kitchen. But Ryan came in and made a nice effort. It'd be interesting to see if Stanton cheats a little bit, knowing that Hernandez has a good sinker and step in the bucket.
He certainly has been trying to live on the inside part of the plate against him. Quick toss over. The Marlins don't steal a whole lot of bases. Dietrich has stolen 1 this year in the big leagues. Mentioned he's been down in the minor leagues with Rafael Furcal playing second base. 2 balls, 1 strike to Giancarlo Stanton. Fastball in there. It's 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes. That ball hit him. So Stanton's hit by a pitch. And that's the 7th batter that Hernandez has hit. Now the Phillies are wondering, did he swing at that or offer at it? It didn't look like he offered at it. I don't know if they thought maybe he fouled it. They'd like to appeal. The first base umpire David Rackley says no, he did not go. No, he didn't go, and it didn't hit the bat. It hit the elbow. Yeah,
I think they were seeing if it was looking at the bottom of the bat, but you can see clearly hit him off the elbow.
All right, so 2 on here in the first, and Casey McGee will be the hitter. Casey McGee has had a very good year. He's hitting .307, 1 home run, 44 runs batted in. Of his 87 hits, 69 of those hits have been singles. Outside, 1-0. Played last year in Japan. Yeah, that's part of the reason why he's been so successful. Look at that batting average with runners in scoring position.
Well, I think it's safe to say with those type of numbers, 1 home run, he does not try to do too much with runners in scoring position. I mean, he's a good line drive hitter with occasional power.
Chopper foul past the third base bag, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, the Marlins commit to this ball game with a record of 37-38. They're 2.5 games out in the National League East. There was a point this season, not too long ago, where they found themselves in first place. In fact, on the 5th of June, they were tied for first. Then on the 8th of June, they were tied again. They've been in first about a dozen days so far here in the 2014 season. Out toward right center field. That's pretty well hit. Revere's on the run. He's not going to get there. It's off the scoreboard. 1 run definitely will score. Stanton's being waved home as well. It's a 2-run double for Casey McGee, and the Marlins lead it 2-0. That was just a pitch left out over the plate. RBIs 45 and 46 for Casey McGee.
Yeah, you can see Chooch is giving him a low target. The ball comes back over the middle of the plate, and McGee drives it to right center. But it was very good heads-up base running by Stanton at first base. Realizing that he wasn't going to get to it, almost to second base, and realizing he's almost going to catch the guy in front of him.
It's amazing that at the angles, like one guy saw it so much better than the other guy. All right, so an early deficit now for the Phils. Here's Jared Saltalamacchia, hitting just a .177 here in the month of June. Fly ball, right center field, not deep, playable for Revere. Caught it on his back leg, but McGee is going to hold up at second. I know it's a small thing. That's one of those where I would think the guy with the better arm, Marlon Byrd, would say, no, I got it. I know you're a center fielder. I know you're supposed to get everything, but I got it.
Well, and especially where that ball is hit. I mean, he's going to his right, so his momentum is going to be coming in towards the ball a little bit. But you might see that in a situation with the guy trying to tag later in the game. Marlon Byrd might call him off.
2 outs. Runner at second. Marcell Ozuna. Good career numbers in a short period of time against the Phillies. Hitting .310 here at Citizens Bank Park. Change up over the knees. It's 0-1. Well, this has been a laborsome inning. 21 pitches.
Yeah, and we talked about his fastball and his changeup style. And for a guy who's throwing 91, 92 miles an hour fastball, an 85, 86 mile an hour changeup is not going to get it done. You'd like to see his changeup down in the low 80s, even in the high 79, 79, 78. But there's not that much difference between the two pitches. So really, as a hitter now, you're picking zones. You pick it inside, outside, whatever it's going to be. This is a perfect time to throw a slider low and away, try to bounce it, and get the confidence thrown in this situation.
A fastball that missed. Looked like it might have been over the plate, but he missed his spot. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Casey McGee's at second. He has a 2-run double that's given the Marlins the early lead. Ground ball to third. Turned out to be an easy hop for Ashe. His throw is in the baseline, and Ozuna's tagged out. Side is retired. 2-run score, though. 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 man left. Middle of the first. It's the Marlins 2, and the Phillies coming up. Down 2-0 in game 1 of this series against the Marlins. Let's take a look at the Phil's starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Jimmy Rollins will lead it off at shortstop, then Carlos Ruiz and Chase Utley. Ryan Howard's over at first base batting cleanup. Marlon Byrd hits 5th. Cody Ashe's up to the 6th hole. He'll be at third base. Dominic Brown will bat 7th. Batting 8th and playing center field, Ben Revere. And hitting 9th and pitching is Roberto Hernandez, and they'll face 24-year-old right-hander Nate Eovaldi, who's gotten roughed up the last couple of outings. Overall, though, he's 4-3 with an ERA of 3.76.
And he's got a very good arm, upper 90s, 98, 97 mile an hour fastball, changeup slider, and a good off-speed pitch to go with that 97 mile an hour fastball. The thing about him is he has to get his fastball down the zone.
Starts Rollins off with a fastball at 96. No balls and 1 strike. Rollins overall hitting .244 with 8 home runs and 29 runs batted in. Honored today before the ball game for becoming the all-time hits leader in Phillies franchise history. Phillies presented Jimmy and his wife Jahari and their 2 daughters with a trip to Italy. They also gave him a larger version of the print that's being given out here tonight. 2-2 as Rollins fouls it into the Phillies dugout. There's the print that all fans received tonight. And Jimmy received a beautiful framed part of that print. Whitey on it in a shadow. Mike Schmidt as well. Out of play, remains 2-2. And Jimmy got a little philosophical after yesterday's ball game against the Cardinals. Part of our Geico quote of the day. I really like what I'm seeing. Everybody's pulling in the same direction. The manager is opening up. The coaching staff is starting to relax. You keep grinding and grinding, and before you know it, we're skating. Fouls another one off. It's 2-2. I thought there were some interesting comments there. The manager's starting to open up, and the coaching staff is beginning to relax.
Well, I think it happens when you get a couple of W's in the column in a row. You know, everyone starts sitting around, not really necessarily pointing fingers, but a little nervous as the season goes on if you're struggling. So, but hey, we're skating, so
you like that.
I like that.
Ryan Howard certainly had a better road trip. It didn't finish the way it started for him, but still. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jimmy Rollins. And Rollins rips it into right field, a base hit. Stanton will get to it and cut it off, and Rollins will hold up at first. That's a good sign, boy. He really turned on that fastball.
And that's what Jimmy's very capable of doing. He's a top-hand hitter, so he likes to use that top hand going into the zone. When he gets up top of the ball, he hits line drives. It's when he gets a lazy swing, that's when he hits his 5 balls. But like you said right there, a good fastball, got his hands extended and turned on it very nicely to right field.
Saw that 97 miles an hour on that fastball as that ball was going out to right field. And now Carlos Ruiz batting second. Carlos 0 for his last 7. He's had much more success this year as the number 2 hitter compared to anywhere else in the order. Right, Sandberg was basically saying today that he thought Ben Revere was kind of overmatched with the fastball in the series against St. Louis because he had been off for a little bit, so he figured put a Ruiz up where he'll get a lot of fastballs. Rollins goes. The pitch is slapped down the right field line, foul.
That's quite an interesting thought process, that going against a guy who's throwing hard. To me, I always thought my timing was good when guys threw hard. It's the guys that with the 89, 90 mile an hour fastballs flipping in the curveball that when your timing's not going well, that's the guys that are hard. But there's nothing wrong with leaving Chooch in the 2-hole.
Oh, I agree.
For 2014.
1 ball, 1 strike on the inside corner. That ball looked like it cut a little bit. It's 1-2. Carlos is hitting .458 this year against the Marlins. In fact, he's got an 8-game hitting streak going against Miami, dating back to last year, of course. Outside, 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ruiz. Another toss over to first. Rollins has stolen 11 bases, has been caught 4 times this year. Outside, 3-2.
And that's what Chooch does at the top of the order. He sees a lot of pitches. Now he puts the ball in play a lot. Now you can put Jimmy in motion. And even though he's in motion, Chooch just wants to make solid contact.
Rollins does go, and the pitch is ripped toward left field. Ozuna will fade back and make the catch. Yeah, there's one away and still a runner over at first. Carlos put a good swing on that one too. See if the Phillies can get a run or 2 back here.
He doesn't try to do too much. It's just nice and easy. If anything, he hits that ball off the end of the bat just a hair. But you're looking at a 2-2 game, but a very good swing. Works the count. I like him hitting in the 2-hole.
I agree with you. I think that the way the lineup is tonight, Rollins, Ruiz, Utley, Howard, even Ashe batting 6th against a right-hander. This is, to me, the way these guys are swinging. This is a good lineup. Potentially a good lineup. Utley takes a strike. It's 0-1. Utley overall hitting 300. He's got 5 home runs, 33 runs batted in. Chase is on the verge of a milestone. He has 1,493 hits, so 7 more for 1,500. Outside, 1-1. Ball that'll drop in. It's 1-2. Feel like a McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Brian Clendenning. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, and Brian will win $300. One ball, 2 strikes to Utley. And Rollins is back diving. Chase and Ryan Howard presented Jimmy with a silver bat commemorating his hits record. Presented it to him on behalf of his teammates, his current teammates. Two and two. Well, here is the bat that Chase presented to Jimmy Rollins with his daughter Cameron in his arms. She saw him, she jumped in his arms, and she wasn't letting go. She also spent a lot of time waving at the fanatic during the ceremonies, which was kind of cool. They're going to tucker him out over there at first base. Outside, 3-2. Well, just like with Ruiz, the count 3-2. They sent Rollins. You would think they'll do the same thing here with one man down and Howard on deck. Rollins goes, and the pitch is swung up, missed. The throw to second base is in time by plenty, and the side is retired. Strikeout, throw out, double play, no runs, 1 hit, nobody left. We'll go to the second inning here in Philadelphia. It's the Marlins 2 and the Phillies nothing. Top of the second, Roberto Hernandez looking to settle in. And he'll try to settle in against the bottom third of the order. Garrett Jones, Eddie Lucas, and Nate Eovaldi. With the Marlins on top 2-0 thanks to a 2-run double in the first. Change up for a strike. It's 0-1. Garrett Jones, 255 with 9 homers and 32 RBIs. He's 0 for his last 12 and 3 for his last 33. Outside, 2-1. Well, Roberto's out of whack right now in these first couple innings. Not that he hasn't been in past games, but a lot of times he finds it. He figures it out, but he's having a little trouble figuring it out here tonight. There's a slider, and it's 2-2.
So is that going to be the 1% we see tonight?
I hope not. I think it surprised Garrett Jones. So he can throw that a few times. He'll surprise everybody.
Just make sure you bounce it.
Remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Garrett Jones over from the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. Tried a slider and tried a back foot slider, but he missed. It's 3-2. 1.5%. We're climbing, Matt. Ed Lucas waits on deck. Inside, ball 4. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, introducing one deposit checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross, live fearless. Oh, it's great to be back home. The Phillies, though, are trailing at 2-0 as we sit here in the top of the second with a runner at first and nobody out. Ed Lucas the batter, and Lucas takes a strike. It's 0-1. Lucas hitting .260. He's playing shortstop tonight for the injured Echeverria. Danny Echeverria has a sore elbow. They do expect that he'll be back tomorrow, though. Inside, 1-1. Echeverria hurt his elbow swinging a bat.
Hyperextension.
Yeah, I guess that's
what happens when you get out in front of a changeup or a slider. You get fooled, and been there, done it, and never will do it again.
I would think once you do it one time for that rest of the year, there's a chance you're going to do it again. And Revere will make that catch. One away. Nate Eovaldi will be the hitter. See the angst on his face. I think even because of the way that ball was hit by Eddie Lucas.
It's almost the point where you would always want to have Hernandez, when he's throwing to Chooch, have Chooch sit right down the middle of the plate. And as you can see, Hernandez is very frustrated knowing that his ball doesn't have that downhill tilt and is staying up in the zone, and that's why he's getting hit hard right now.
Eovaldi shows bunt, takes a strike. It's 0-1. All right, 3 sliders in this inning. That's a good thing, though.
I'm buying a lottery ticket.
Eovaldi's 2 for 28 so far in the year. Well, you and I had never pitched. I don't know how you get that feeling back to get on top, to be able to throw that sinker.
Well, I mean, we've never pitched before, but if you throw sliders like he just threw again, that means you have to get out on top of the ball and try to bounce that ball or try to throw it down the bottom of the strike zone. So you have to get on top of this. With his changeup and his fastball right now, he's getting underneath it. That's why it's tailing back towards the middle of the plate and not having that downhill tilt. So I like the fact that he's called the first 2 pitches here sliders.
Oh, that was a good sinker right there. That was a sinker down in the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And another thing is that pitchers let pitchers bunt too easy at times. Throw a fastball right down the middle. Now he's doing his job. Why not throw a wrinkle in a slider, curveball, changeup, and make him stab at it?
Well, that's what he was trying to do, at least with 3 of the 4 pitches in this at bat. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Eovaldi bunts at it and misses. 2 outs. First strikeout for Roberto. I don't know if it'll continue, but the 2 fastballs that he threw in this at bat were his 2 best fastballs.
And they were, and I think it comes off from those sliders that he was throwing earlier, of getting the extension, getting on top of that slider. Came back with a very nice sinker right there for the strikeout.
Well, Marisnick grounded out to shortstop his only time up. He's 0 for 1. Up here with 2 men down, top of the 2nd. Foul ball, and it's 0-1. Off the end of the bat, foul. It's 0-2. He's thrown at least 4 or even 5 sliders in this inning. He didn't throw any in the first inning. Maybe the conversation in the dugout in between innings with Bob McClure, even with Carlos Ruiz, maybe that conversation led them to convince him to throw the slider. There it is again, and that's a good one. Side is retired. Back-to-back strikeouts for Hernandez. No runs, no hits, 1 man left, middle of the 2nd. Marlins lead it 2-0 over the Phillies. Bottom of the 2nd inning, Phillies trail at 2-0. Ryan Howard will lead things off. It'll be Howard, Bird, and Cody Ashe against right-hander Nate Eovaldi. 3 men over, shift on against Howard. And he fouls it back. It's 0-1. Derek Dietrich, the 2nd baseman, is in shallow right field. Casey McGee, the 3rd baseman, is next to him in this alignment. 0-2. Well, two challenging fastballs right out of the chute against Ryan Howard. And a curveball hit towards center field. It's pretty deep. Backing up on it, Marisnik, and he'll make the catch. Well, he had a twirl around before he was able to settle under it. One out here in the second.
This is just a big old curveball. This thing starts right at the 409 mark and ends up catching it in between, but he actually came in, did the little loop, and what you call no panic, just get back there and make a play.
Because he took his eyes off it for a moment or two before he turned around and was able to gather it again. Well, here's Marlon Byrd. Marlon 0 for his last 6, 2 for 11 in the series against the Cardinals. First pitch is a slider outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Eovaldi is the kind of pitcher that will throw a curveball and a slider. That's all part of his mixture of pitches. He's throwing Marlon Byrd back-to-back sliders,
which is hard to figure out too, because opponents are hitting 143 versus his curveball. So everyone gears up for that 96, 97 mile-an-hour fastball, and you drop that curveball, you throw that nice slider, the guys start cheating on that. You know, it's interesting because the teams are hitting 286 versus his fastball compared to 248 versus slider. So you'd think that he would realize that his fastball, he could maybe throw off speed a little bit more and then strike guys out with his fastball.
There is the fastball, swung on and missed, and that's the second strikeout for Eovaldi. Now there are 2 outs here in the second. Going to bring Cody Ashley to the plate. Well, this is game 1 of a 4-game series between the Marlins and the Phillies. Game 2 coming up tomorrow night at 7:05. Wednesday is African American night here at the ballpark. That's also 7:05 start. Don't forget, after Thursday's game, it's the Xfinity Fireworks Show. Get your tickets now for the rest of this homestand, including the 3 against the Marlins, by going to Phillies.com. Cody Ashley with a 2-out single. It's the second hit for the Phils. Kind of the same swing that he had yesterday when he had the 3-run double. And that'll bring Dominic Brown to the plate. Dominic hitting .219 with 5 home runs, 37 runs batted in. It's 2 for 13 in the series against the Cardinals, 7 for 27 overall on the road trip. His numbers weren't bad the first couple of days in Atlanta. After that, though, it tailed off a little bit. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Dominic is 4 for 19 lifetime against Eovaldi.
Dominic Brown needs to get his top hand involved in his swing more. Everyone talks about a left-handed swing, that dominant hand, which is your bottom hand, is a guide hand, but he guides it to the zone too much. and doesn't use his top hand at all to get on top of it. That's why a lot of times you'll see him when he swings, his body goes away from the pitcher. That's why he hits so many ground balls. That if you thought about taking his shoulder and turning it in towards the shortstop or second baseman, see how he has the straight line, but his chest goes away from the pitcher. So any type of movement, change-up, fastball, sinker, whatever, he pulls off, he pulls back from his body and hits those ground balls.
So that's why the toppers back to the mound, so many have been so many of those ground balls right back to the hill.
Right. It all starts with your balance over top of home plate. And as the pitcher comes in for the delivery, your shoulder turns in. Now you're in a power stance. But what happens is he doesn't turn. He kind of has his hands, and it's kind of a loop where his bat will drop. And as you swing it, he goes away from the ball. And that's why he gets up in front of balls and hits a lot of ground balls weak.
3 balls and 2 strikes. All right, I think I understand what you're saying even by looking at that video. Like the shoulders sort of coming out away from the pitcher.
Right. You want to concentrate this shoulder going this way here. Now I'm out over the ball. What happens is he swings this way. Now his chest is going away from the pitcher.
Right.
That's why he gets the barrel in front and hits a lot of weak ground balls.
He takes outside as Ashley was going.
But when he is going right and his timing is down and he hits that monstrous home runs to right field, it's because the pitch is down inside. And it's the easiest thing for him because he's falling off and his bat's going that angle. But if he would just think about keeping his shoulders closed and going this way towards the pitcher, now everything goes this way to the ball instead of this way. Now I'm losing all my power and my body goes away from the pitcher. You think about pointing your shoulder towards the shortstop, it'll keep you in there longer.
Yeah, and I would think, he probably looks at a lot of video. He probably knows that there's something that's different from last year. It's like any other habit, though. I guess it's hard to get out of.
It is.
Here's Revere who takes a strike. It's 0-1. Phillies down 2-0 here in the bottom of the second. Trying to get a run back here. They've got a runner in scoring position for Ben Revere. That one's out towards center field. Maruznik is there. Side is retired. No runs, 1 hit. 2 men left, 2 in the books here in Philadelphia as we go to the third. Marlins 2, Phillies 0. Derek Dietrich will lead it off for the Marlins as we go to the top of the third. It's 2-0, Miami on top. Swings at the first pitch. Shallow center, Ben Revere. 1 out, Giancarlo Stanton is coming out. Speaking of Stanton and the rest of the National League All-Stars, here's a look at the current ballot, which was released just moments ago. Chase Utley's over the 2 million mark at second base. And Giancarlo Stanton has found himself out of the top 3, with Gomez taking over in the outfield with Yasiel Puig and Andrew McCutchen. And how about Aramis Ramirez has taken over at third base with 1.2 million votes. Keep updated on all the voting totals for the Midsummer Classic at MLB.com. Well, Chase has got a stranglehold on second base. How Giancarlo Stanton has fallen out of the top 3 is remarkable. But the Brewers are putting together that big old ad campaign where they're trying to take votes away from the St. Louis Cardinals, in particular Jonathan Lucroy trying to take votes away from Yadier Molina. Kind of a spoof, little satire, which the Cardinals manager Mike Matheny didn't take all that well, but still. 2 balls and no strikes to Stanton. He went, says the first base umpire, David Rackley. Is he being too careful with Stanton these first 2 at-bats, you think?
No, yes and no. A little bit he's trying to throw that nasty sinker inside. But, I mean, really, can you ever be too careful versus that guy who's...
No, I agree. You know, it just seems like he keeps throwing the pitch in the same spot.
Yeah.
Now, he bit a couple times. That was a hanging slider, but he fought off to the right side. That'll bring Casey McGee to the plate. McGee, a 2-run double his last time up. Stanton is 6 for 6 in stolen bases. All no strikes. McGee is now 32 of 80 with runners in scoring position after that 2-run double in the first. Inside, 2-0. Oh, he's already up to 50 pitches. He's had 8 games this year where he hasn't been able to get out of the 6th inning. You can see he's fighting himself out on the mound too. He's talking to himself. He's wandering around. Slider on the outside corner, 2-1.
It's perfect location on that slider as well. Chooch called low and away and made him get on top of it and throw it there. But we talked about it earlier where Chooch sets up inside to the hitters. It seems like he's trying to throw the ball to that spot and it's just going out of the zone too much.
Yeah.
Instead of having Chooch set up in the inner half, start to play the other half, which I know it sounds really wrong to say to a pitcher, but his ball moves a lot. It's a late tail.
Two balls, 2 strikes. In the dirt, Ruiz has it. Stanton took a late start, and he is safe at second base. See how they scored it. I believe they're going to score a wild pitch. And I think they have to because he wasn't going, although he had a good secondary lead.
Yeah, and how Carlos keeps his ball in front of him and almost throws Stanton out at second base is beyond me. pretty close to second base.
It was. Three balls and 2 strikes to Casey McGee. He may have gotten away with one there. That was a high hanging slider that McGee fouled back.
That's what you call a good hanger, because it didn't come down the zone. It stayed up on top, and you really couldn't get on top of it right there.
That's a good point.
If that broke down a couple more inches down, oof.
Little looper out towards center field. Here comes Revere, makes the catch, and they're going to have Stanton doubled up. The easy throw out to second, the double play will finish up the third. Well, he had a very good base running move his last time out there. Not so much this time, and Revere is able to capitalize. University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF-NOW for an appointment. Buy Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And Buy Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. Bottom of the third inning, it's 2-0 Marlins on top. Roberto Hernandez will lead it off. Roberto 0 for 22. 0 for 40 for his career. Outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Jamie and I had this discussion on the road trip, Matt. I know you were watching. Who's going to get their first major league hit first? Roberto Hernandez or David Buchanan?
Buchanan.
I think it's majority rules on that one. 2 balls, 1 strike. He might be taking another strike here.
And the only reason why I say is because Hernandez is getting fastballs away, and he's getting buckled with them. You can see his.
3-1. Jimmy Rollins on deck.
Pete just whistled that and gave him the old take this pitch right here.
Now he's swinging. Now he's ready to go.
If he hits it to right field, he better run.
Got a piece of it. Already 4 full counts for Eovaldi. Pitchers work on their hitting. Today they're working on their bunting. A.J. Burnett, he's been their best hitter. And the opposite way, a base hit right now. Yep, Stanton's not going to make the play. And Roberto Hernandez, after 41 at-bats, gets his first major league hits.
Throw that man the baseball. Some champagne, whatever he wants.
There you go. That's a keeper. I don't know what he'll do with it.
I don't know, but look at that nice early set. Head somewhat down. Drove it to right field. And I'm really surprised that Stanton did not come up and try to throw him out of first base.
I thought he was going to come up firing. Jimmy Rollins is coming up with a runner at first. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thanks very much, Tom. Well, we're just celebrating hits tonight. We go from Roberto Hernandez, who now has one, and to Jimmy Rollins, who has quite more than that. And I'm with one proud mama right now. Gigi Rollins is here with us, and now you're going to have to multitask because Jimmy's up.
I'm used to doing that.
Yeah, I know you are. So what a special night. It had to be great to watch this ceremony today from a front row seat that you guys had.
It was a beautiful ceremony, and I'm just happy that me and my family can be here to celebrate with him.
About 24 family members are here, and half of them coming out from the West Coast. And you know, when you watch the video and you saw Jimmy from a very young age, and you watched him grow, and you know, obviously you've seen him from the very beginning. But again, to look back and look at some of those memories, probably pretty special.
It is very special. What's most special about it is that I saw him as a child wanting one day to be something and to play baseball. That's all he wanted to do, and to see his dreams come true, it makes me feel really proud.
When he addressed the crowd tonight, he mentioned you and your love for softball and kind of instilling his love for baseball and that. And we've heard that story before, but I bet you that never gets old, right?
It never. You're right. It never gets old. Never. But you know, he exaggerates a little bit. I played okay, but you know, I'm his mom, so of course to him I played well.
Now, you weren't here in Philadelphia. Your husband was, but you weren't in Philadelphia. So tell us where you were when you watched the hit that broke the record.
I was in my living room, in the family room, my daughter and myself, and a friend of ours, and we were just jumping for joy and just wishing that, you know, he'd get a hit, and it happened.
Did you get a chance to talk to him after the game?
No, I did not. Actually, I left him a text message. I called him, and I said, Jimmy, give me a call. And he said he tried to call me, but my daughter and I was out to dinner. So, no, I did not speak with him.
When you look around and look at the crowd here in Philadelphia, Jimmy's always been appreciated for the way he plays the game. And, again, you know, you look around and see what they were able to do tonight, the standing ovation. Pretty special indeed.
It was very special. I mean, you know, he's been here his entire career, and he loves Philly. So just to see that, you know, the hometown appreciate him, it makes me feel good.
Well, congratulations. Congratulations to your family as well. It's been great watching Jimmy get all those hits in a Phillies uniform as he flies out to center field on this one. But, GJ, good to see you, and enjoy your time in Philadelphia.
Thank you.
Tom, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that very much. Jimmy feels like he missed a pitch there. After getting the single his first time up. You know, I have to say, we've met a lot of family members. Did you see this pitch?
You're right, Tom. That was what you call a cookie right down the middle. Just kind of took too big of a swing, and the barrel dropped and popped it up.
About to say, we've met a lot of family members over the years. Parents of players, brothers, sisters of players. There aren't too many that we've met that are better than James and Gigi Rollins. They are outstanding in every facet. Jimmy not only had a brother who was a pretty good player, and members of his family. His sister was an outstanding college basketball player. And James and Gigi, they did it right. They raised their family. They raised their sons and their daughters right. They are special people. No balls and 2 strikes to Carlos Ruiz. Not holding Roberto Hernandez on at first. With the dirt, 1-2. Carlos lined out to the warning track and left his first time up. 0 for 1. 2-2.
Tom, I'm not sure if I've ever seen a first baseman play that far behind a runner at first base.
That far behind and that far off the bag. And they turn 2 here. They're going to around the horn. 5-4-3 double play. Even with that lead, he was unable to break up the double play. We played 3 here in Philadelphia. And again, Jimmy Rollins honored tonight for becoming the all-time hits leader in Philadelphia Phillies history. Well, here comes Jimmy Rollins on the doorstep of history. And now the 3-ball, 1-strike pitch to Rollins. A line drive toward right field. There it is! Jimmy Rollins is now the franchise leader in base hits with 2,235. LM 160 label maker for the shocking price of just $9.99. Available exclusively at W.B. Mason during June only. The official labeling partner of the Phillies. Top of the 4th inning, 2-0 Marlins on top. We got a little late start because of the ceremonies honoring Jimmy Rollins prior to tonight's ball game. Some of his former teammates stopped by, like Marlon Anderson, Mike Lieberthal, Bobby Abreu. An off night tonight for the Mets, so Bobby Abreu is here in town, and Pat Burrell. Jared Saltalamacchia begins the 4th by taking a strike. It's 0-1. Two. Saltalamacchia flying out to center, lined out to center his first time up. In the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Phillies last homestand were 4-2. Not too shabby, although they did lose 2 of 3 to the Cubs. But they swept out the Padres. They're kind of hoping that the success they had on the road trip, 5-2 on the road trip, coupled with the success they had here at home, would sort of turn things around here at Citizens Bank Park. Ryan Sandberg talked about that today. And the players even talked about that after yesterday's ball game, hoping to carry what they did in St. Louis, even though they lost the last 2, into tonight's ball game. With a foul ball. Whether they make a move or not in the standings, more of a move. They got to within 4 or 3.5. they have to get this home field advantage back here at Citizens Bank Park. I don't know how you do it. I don't know what the formula is. I don't know. It's just winning, obviously, but I don't know how you do it on a nightly basis. It used to be easy.
It used to be. You used to come in here and it was, if you're playing a 4-game series, you're guaranteed 3 out of 4, or 3-game series winning 2, possibly 3. But I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know if it's they put too much pressure on themselves. I'm not sure what it is.
Third strikeout for Roberto Hernandez. He got a change up there from Salt to Lamakia. Time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, Matt, just so you know, Jamie was pretty good on this road trip. Let's see if you used your time wisely away. Who holds the record for most Gold Gloves by a catcher? The answer will be revealed in just a little bit. Ozuna over toward the hole. Picked up by Ashe. 2 outs. 2 quick outs for Roberto Hernandez here in the 4th. And walking to the plate is Garrett Jones.
Jamie was good. I listened to the.
I will say that I did look a few times to see if he was searching the internet on his phone. And just as I watch you write down the correct answer, he would write down the correct answer. Now, there were a couple of occasions where he needed some hints, but that was okay.
So the first name I wrote down, is that correct?
Did you write down a second? Oh, you did write down a second.
So, okay,
yes, the first name you wrote down is correct. 0-1 pitch. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
He did a good job on lefty, who we got traded from St. Louis. Saw that one, Rick Wise.
I think that one was easy, though, because he was a kid.
Yeah. Plus, you got a text from me.
Oh, did you give it to him?
Just kidding.
I was looking to see if there was any of that going on. 1 ball and 1 strike. Change up low, 2-1. Balls, 1 strike. Ed Lucas on deck. The Stars have been lined for the 2014 Major League Baseball All-Star Game as the best of the National League take on the American League's elite. Don't miss the action Tuesday, July 15th on Fox. Captains have been named for the Home Run Derby. Foul tip and another strikeout. 2 in the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Marlins. The first 1, 2, 3 inning of the night for Roberto Hernandez. Middle of the 4th. Phil's looking for a little offense when we return. Visit your local Delaware Valley Honda dealer or shophonda.com. By McDonald's, any size hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Chevrolet, visit your local dealer at chevydealer.com. Chase Utley will lead things off here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Utley struck out his first time up. Chase was 4 for 14 in the series against the Cardinals. Last time his average dipped under 299. He went on a little bit of a stretch where he put it back up to 307, 308 on back-to-back days. Well, it's sitting at 299 right now with this at bat. Curveball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Tough curveball.
Well, we talked about it earlier. He has a very good curveball. He doesn't throw it enough. It's very surprising.
Fly ball to center field. And Utley's retired for the first out. They'll bring Ryan Howard to the plate. Speaking of Ryan Howard, brings us to our Mazda leaders. Now this is an active. This is career leaders versus the Marlins. And Ryan is 3 away from Chipper Jones, who's the all-time leader. Andrew Jones, who's still playing baseball, by the way. Did you know that? He's still playing in Japan. Yeah. And Sammy Sosa, who is not still playing baseball. Howard has one of those home runs against Evaldi. Put a pretty good swing on a ball the last time he was up. No balls, 1 strike. Go along with those 37 home runs. Howard has 110 runs batted in his career against Miami. Now it's pulled toward right. Stanton was playing deep, so he'll make the play on 1 hop. See, that's where the shift helped Ryan Howard. As the right fielder was playing on his pull side, was playing out toward the warning track.
Which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense if you're the right fielder, because any ball that's going to be hit over your head anyway, there's a pretty good chance he's going to have the backspin. And he does a nice job of tucking his hands in here with the slider. Didn't get it in as far as he wanted to, but Ryan did a nice job of getting the barrel to it and hitting a line drive to right field.
And now Marlon Byrd. Marlon struck out his last time up. Marlon with 12 home runs, 43 runs batted in. He also is trying to get himself back on track. He's playing every day. He did have a day off in the series against the Cardinals. And that one is lined out towards center field. Marisnick going back toward the track to the wall, and he makes the running grab. And Ryan Howard goes back to first. 2 outs. That ball was smoked, and that was a very good play.
No, you're correct. It was sitting up here. We have a great view and watching the outfielders how they break, and a lot of guys that center fielders will freeze, but he turned and he went, and I mean this ball was crushed to center field and made a very easy catch running that ball down. The concentration, not worried about hitting the fence, but it's all starting with the first jump. He didn't freeze. He recognized the ball was hit well and turned and went after it.
He almost dropped that ball, though, Matt. You know, you have to make a natural exchange, although they've tinkered with that rule this year. And he was fortunate that the tip of his glove, the front of his glove, was kind of braced against the fence, and the umpires didn't see it because it looked like he garnered control thanks to that. But that was a very good play. Ashe rips one toward right. That's going to be in for a base hit. Stanton will let it go to the scoreboard. Howard to second. He'll be held there. It's a double for Cody Ashe. Runners on second and third with 2 men down. like it was a pitch that was in, and he was able to turn on it.
Yeah, and Cody's first at bat had a 97-mile-an-hour fastball based at the left field. Gets I believe it's a changeup inside. Just reacts, keeps his hands to the zone right there, and he's been swinging the bat well. Down on the rehab assignment, coming back and swinging the bat. You can just tell he steps in that batter's box. He has a lot of confidence.
Well, now Dominic Brown has a chance to tie this ball game up. Dominic walked his first time up. Inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Are they careful with him here with first base open and Revere? I guess you could say a lighter hitter than Dominic Brown in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, he's probably going to try to throw good curveballs or whatever it is and try to get him to do that right there.
Well, there you go. It was a curveball, and he flies out to center, so the side is retired. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left in scoring position. The Phillies have threatened a couple times, but still have not been able to score a run as we go to the 5th. Game series, 4 games in 3 days. 7:05 on Friday night. It's the Xfinity Fireworks Show post game. Get your tickets for that series by going to Phillies.com. We go to the 5th inning. Phillies down 2-0. They have 5 hits. The Marlins have just 3. And Lucas, the batter, takes high. Lucas lined to center his first time up. It was one of the harder hit balls of the night for the Marlins. Down and away, 2 balls and 1 strike. Lucas played 928 games in the minor leagues before he made his major league debut last season. He was selected in the draft in 2004 out of Dartmouth by the Kansas City Royals. But 928 games. A little floater out toward right. Marlon Byrd is there. Well, there's 1 away. That'll bring Nate Eovaldi to the plate. And let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph?
All right, Tom. Well, one thing is for certain over the last couple of weeks, the Phillies have played very good defense. In fact, they've gone 10 straight games without committing an error, and that's the second time this season they've gone 10 or more games without committing an error. Believe it or not, guys, that's just the second time in franchise history that they've had 2 streaks of 10 or more games with no errors involved. The only other time was back in 1967. Right now, the Phils second in the National League in fielding percentage and second least errors with 37. Only the Cincinnati Reds have been better in the field than the Phils, and that certainly has led to their recent success, no doubt about it, guys.
Yeah, Ryan Sandberg talked about that today. He said it's one of the bright spots the team has had is just fundamentally how well they played, physically how well they played. Phillies with 10 errors during that time, Miami with 9 games without an error, Seattle with 6, the White Sox with 5. Ground ball to second. Utley is up with it. 2 outs. Hey Murph, real quick, I know that you've become very popular not only here at home but also on the road, and I want to congratulate you on that. Matt and I are very proud of you.
Well, thank you.
But is there a reason? Is that why you have security behind you? Is that why you have?
We have to travel with security nowadays.
All right, every time we go to you, we want to.
That's right.
We want him to follow you around.
Sometimes I just stop in a spot and they happen to be around.
Got 3 guys near you now.
One on each
really
side.
Getting important.
Yeah.
2 outs. Top of the order. There's a strike. It's 0-1. See how things have changed, Matt, since you were gone? Murph's popularity's exploded.
Murph's he's got that kind of pull now, I guess.
No balls and 1 strike to Marisnik. In the dirt, 1-1.
If you guys keep it up, I'm going to send Michael over there, and he's going to take care of you too.
Yeah, I don't know if Michael has the swipe to get back here, but let's see him try. Up and in, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Let's make sure if Michael comes over underneath where we're at, I'm giving the flying elbow off the top rope.
Be a pretty good battle between the 3 of you, I think.
We probably would need to be a tag team to take him down. 2 balls and 1 strike to Marisnik. On the inside corner, 2-2. We'll take that. There's that sinker you're talking about where it just runs right into the right-handed hitter. I was interested in what you were saying about Ruiz just setting up right behind home plate, because I've sat there and I've watched a little bit to see if he's maneuvered at all after he lays down the signs. Now he's basically right behind the plate, and a call, strike 3. Perfect spot for him to set up and grab that one on the black. 3 strikeouts in the last 2 innings for Roberto Hernandez, so he's retired 7 consecutive batters. Now let's see if the offense can get it back. For Mike Schmidt, Derek Jeter, Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, and of course, Jimmy himself on this great moment in Phillies history. Don't miss the commemorative edition of Phillies Clubhouse presented by Mercedes-Benz tonight at 11 on Comcast Sportsnet. There were some great tributes tonight on the big video board, including Jimmy Fallon and the band The Roots, Philadelphia-based band. It was the Tonight Show band on NBC. As Ben Revere takes low, 1 ball and no strikes. Everything that guy does I laugh at, but when he got the band together with it, and the band plays along with him very well on the Tonight Show. But those honors were pretty cool. You know, they had a range of people. It was a variety of people. Charles Barkley, Derek Jeter, Mayor Michael Nutter, Dr. Jill Biden,
Ricky Henderson. No idea what he said, but he was on there.
But Revere takes a strike. It's 2-1.
Ricky Henderson was one of the funnier teammates I've ever played with. The stuff that come out of his mouth, you'd be like, okay, what's Ricky talking about?
There's a line drive to center field, and they had Revere play perfectly. I'll take a listen into Jimmy Fallon congratulating Jimmy Rollins.
Hey guys, I'm right here with the Roots from Philadelphia, and we want to say congratulations to Jimmy Rollins on becoming the Phillies' all-time hit leader. Congratulations, Jimmy! Thank you, guys. That's so nice of you to say it that. No, dude. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Congratulations, Jimmy!
Here's Roberto Hernandez, the hottest hitter in the Phillies lineup tonight. He singled his last time up. Jimmy had a big smile on his face when everybody was giving their greetings up on the board. There's a tapper back to the mound. Roberto is running up the first base line, and there are 2 outs. I say that because in Atlanta the other day he hit a tapper and just stopped and didn't move.
He didn't even make it to the left-handed batter's box.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He didn't make it to the left-handed batter's box. And Ryan Sandberg said, we remind him all the time. He's done it before. He goes, we'll remind him again. He said it's unacceptable.
You know what the easiest way to get guys to run is get in their wallet.
They may have done that. There's Jimmy Rollins, who's 1 for 2. And, you know, sometimes they say it's hard to scold a pitcher because, you know, the pitchers are paid to pitch, but it's all part of the game, particularly in the National League. One ball and no strikes to Rollins. Rollins pops it up. Foul territory, third base side. Casey McGee is there. He makes the catch, and the side is retired. Phillies go down in order. We've played 5 so far. Phillies have out hit the Marlins, but trail it 2-0. Of the week is the all-time hits leader for a franchise that has existed since 1883. Jimmy Rollins delivered his first hit in his major league debut. and has delivered on cue for his team and the city of Philadelphia for 15 seasons. Among the leaders in almost every offensive category in Phillies history, Jimmy's baseball card on the back is overflowing with a career of offensive success. The hits torch has officially been passed for the Phillies. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless.
First of all, I want to congratulate Jimmy Rollins for becoming the Phillies' all-time hit leader. That's pretty cool. Him and Ryan and Chase and those guys and Cole's been great to watch him for the last X amount of years.
Charles Barkley, of course, today appearing on PST, and he was funny. He was outgoing, as you would expect. I thought the best part about it was when John Clark, who was hosting today, put up different comments that Charles that have been attributed to Charles over the years, and they asked him, true, not true, did you say this, didn't you say this? And it was funny, very engaging. Derek Dietrich takes a strike. It's 0-1. That's who you should invite to your golf outing. He'd be funny,
especially that swing, although he has worked on it.
Yeah. 0-2. Dietrich is 1 for 2. He singled and scored in the first. Fly to center his last time up. Not a bad pitch. 0-2. And a call. Strike 3. 6 strikeouts for Roberto Hernandez. He's retired 8 consecutive batters.
And this pitch is all set up with the changeup low and away, then comes back with that front door sinker, having him look out over the plate and freezes him inside.
Stan has been hit by a pitch. He singled to right his last time up. Ryan Howard's moved over to that spot. The pitch is awfully close. I know he keeps throwing in that same area, but particularly that one right there, that was pretty close to being a strike. Outside, 2-0. Shame he had that first inning, because beyond that and beyond facing Stanton, he's been aggressive with a lot of the hitters. It's understandable when you're not as aggressive with Giancarlo Stanton. They keep checking those check swings. David Rackley keeps ringing them up.
That's back-to-back times with Stanton hitting.
One pitch inside. The sinker ran in. 3-1.
Chooch wanted the fastball away, and he shook and he kept his finger up there, the little pinky finger, saying, no, we want the fastball away. But Hernandez must feel like he can throw a good two-seamer inside to him. It just better be down.
Inside, ball 4. So that ends a string of 8 in a row. 8 hitters in a row retired by Roberto Hernandez. It's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag #PhillyFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. Casey McGee tonight has doubled home the 2 runs for the Marlins. He's also hit into a double play, which, by the way, is the 23rd double play the Marlins have hit into here in the month of June. It's been one of their issues. They've struck out a lot. They're hitting just .235 coming into this game here in the month of June. But 23 double plays.
Yeah, a lot of strikeouts and a lot of double plays. Not so good.
That's why the record in the month of June is 9-11. Mike Redmond's team just hasn't really performed all that well in a division that has had the same problem from top to bottom. Popped him up. Howard into foul territory. He may have room. He does on the track, and he tried a basket catch. And that should be an error on Ryan Howard. He got there in time where he could have just reached up and made the catch. At least it seemed that way. Maybe he lost it coming down. I don't know. I think he was hesitant because of the railing.
Yeah, I think he thought he ran out of room, but you know, I agree with what you said, Tom. He could have just put his hand up, but you know, that's a situation there where you definitely need your catcher or someone yelling to you how much room, or even your bench yelling down there and telling you how much room you have until you have the rail.
Well, they do scored a no play, so it's not an error. One ball and 2 strikes to McGee on the changeup. Toyota Major League Scoreboard, the Nationals just put a 3 spot up on the board against the Brewers on a 3-run home run by Adam LaRoche. Nationals sitting atop the National League East right now. After taking the last 2 games against the Braves, they're a game and a half up over Atlanta, 2.5 up over Miami, and then 5 up over the Phillies and the Mets. Chopper over to third, a foul ball over the head of Brett Butler.
Even though Stanton doesn't steal a lot of bases, this is definitely a time right here, especially this pitch, where you got to pay attention to him a little bit at first base. He hasn't paid a whole lot of attention. He's been doing pretty much the same count, 1001, 1002 going home.
There he goes. Fly ball right center field. Revere makes the catch. And Stanton back to first. Boy, it's as if you played this game. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Phillies.com for details. Jimmy Rollins and Carlos Ruiz both out to the mound. Mario Hollins warming up in the bullpen for the Phillies. Bob McClure looked up and saw the pitch count. It's at 99. They've gotten 5 2/3 out of Roberto Hernandez. I'm sure they'd love to get through this inning here. Outside, 1-0. Runner goes. Pitch is taken outside. Throw to second by Ruiz. Not in time. Stolen base number 7 for Stanton.
It's just one of those things where you're getting a read on him, and we talked about it before about getting the count of how long he's holding before he goes, and You know, the play before that he threw over, but real quick, so it doesn't really serve a purpose. Come set, hold him for a while, make the hitter call timeout, or step off. But
they talked about that after his last start. You know, they talked about him running the balls out, but they said that he has to be better with holding runners on. And that's a case in point right there. Two balls, no strikes. Outside, 3-0. Got a pretty dangerous hitter in the on-deck circle. And Marcell Ozuna, power-wise, extra base-wise, he's better off, the Marlins are, than Saltalamacchia. Ball 4. 2 walks here in this inning. This may be twofold here. This may be get a right-hander up along with Hollins, or just checking to see if Hollins is ready to go. Mario's been throwing for a while, so he's ready to go.
I think this meeting more was just to calm him down a little bit. And, you know, starting with Stanton and McGee, he was kind of overthrown, even though he got McGee to pop up to center field. His motion now, he's kind of putting everything behind it again.
Yeah.
Where for 4 innings he was nice and easy and throwing, it seems like now he's trying to rear back and throw harder than he's capable of. So I think by Jason, those guys being the veterans coming in, trying to calm him down a little bit.
Outside, 1-0. Garrett Jones is on deck, a lefty. So if he loses him here, Ozuna, then it is going to be Mario Hollins. Then you'd have the bases loaded, or there'd be more damage than that if you get to the next hitter. 1 ball, no strikes. Ground ball to third. Ashley backs up on it. Long throw. Ozuna runs well in time, and the side is retired. A little bit of trouble for Roberto Hernandez, but he gets out of it. He leaves 2 onto the bottom of the 6th inning. 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Phillies. Buy the Quality Plus Ford stores. Go further. Buy the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. And buy WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy rice. Faith and Family Night here at Citizens Bank Park, and that's the Enon Tabernacle Mass Choir, directed by Dr. Cassandra Jones and also by Dr. Alan Waller, performing before the ball game tonight. There were a lot of other great choirs that were participating tonight in the Faith and Family Night at Citizens Bank Park. They did a beautiful rendition of the Star Spangled Banner. They were also performing out in Ashburn Alley before the ball game. I want to thank all of them for coming out and being part of the pregame festivities that led into the Phillies honoring Jimmy Rollins, becoming the all-time hits leader in Phillies history. 1 ball, 1 strike to Carlos Ruiz, and he takes inside 2-1. All right, Matt. Roberto Hernandez has given the Phillies 6 innings. He's allowed just 2 runs. How about this? Home games this year for Roberto. I guess this plays along with what the Phillies struggles with that. As Carlos lifts one to left, playable for Ozuna. Phillies have averaged 1.69 runs when Roberto starts at Citizens Bank Park. Less than 2 runs per outing.
No bueno. Not very good, is it?
No bueno. That's the second lowest among National League starting pitchers. Well, tonight has been one of those same nights. They had runners on second and third in the 4th, but couldn't score. First and second in the 2nd, didn't score. Leadoff batter aboard in the 3rd.
And I believe his night is going to be done.
Yeah, he's over 100 pitches. Holland is still throwing in the pen. One ball, 1 strike. There's Mario. And 1 strike. 10 fly ball outs tonight for Nate Eovaldi. Utley's 0 for 2. He is struck out and flied out. Hits one down the left field line. Will slice out of play. Three ground outs, 10 fly ball outs. He's a strikeout pitcher, but he only has 2 in this game. This is a guy who has allowed 11 earned runs in his last 10 2/3 prior to this ball game. Out toward left again, playable again for Ozuna. And there are 2 outs. Well, it's time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans Trivia Quiz answer. Matt, the question is, who holds the record for most Gold Gloves by a catcher?
Ivan Pudge Rodriguez with 13.
Ivan Rodriguez is correct. We even have the number. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack.
Do I get a double belt?
We didn't ask for that, but we'll give you a pat on the back. Ryan Howard's the batter. He's 1 for 2. Inside, 1 ball with no strikes. Boy, that looked like a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. It was an 87-mile-an-hour changeup the way it came in. Down the left field line. That one's slicing away from Ozuna. It is a foul ball. And up until this point, it's just not the Phillies' night.
Pete's looking into the dugout saying that might be a little close down there to check.
Well, they can review this. And it's foul.
Yep.
anything onto the outfield grass in the air, they can review. Anything before the outfield grass is not reviewable. I think that might be one that they'll change as this moves on. 2 balls and 2 strikes, a slider in the dirt.
So you think the foul ball on the grass will change?
No, I think that eventually they'll evolve and have not ground balls over the bag, but let's say line drives that are over the bag that land fair or foul in the dirt. There's a fly ball to left. That's pretty well hit. Ozuna's going back. Does he have room? He does. And the side is retired. 3 fly balls to left, and the Phils are still scoreless through 6 innings. We go to the 7th. The Marlins 2 runs in the first, lead it 2-0. That guy that went down the stairs is okay. I hadn't seen that before, but he went down pretty hard. It's time now for our local Honda dealers game summary. Casey McGee's 2-run double in the first is the difference in this ball game. Marlins only have 3 hits, and 2 of those hits came in the first inning. AT PHI, though, has made it stand up. 6 innings, 2 strikeouts, 5 hits. Roberto Hernandez allowed just the 2 runs in the first. That's it. He's only allowed 1 other base hit since the first. He's out, though, as we go to the 7th, and Mario Hollins will take over for the Phils. Hollins in his 29th game, a 2.49 ERA. And he's on to face Garrett Jones, Ed Lucas, and then the pitcher's spot here in the top of the 7th inning. To the right side, Howard is there. Hollins will cover. 1 away. With that, it's time for the Major League Notebook. Murph, got a little more security, I guess, where you are right now, huh?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a minute. But first, brought to you by Gwynedd Mercy University is the Major League Notebook. And baseball's Home Run Derby, Tom, will have a new look this year. The 20th annual Home Run Derby will feature 5 players from both leagues, and they'll all hit in the first round. Then the top 3 from both leagues will move on, with the number 1 guy getting a bye, and they'll put it in bracketed form until there's 1 American leaguer left and 1 National leaguer left, and then they will battle for the championship for the Home Run Derby. It is 20 years old. Hard to believe is the Home Run Derby. And by the way, guys, they named their captains today. Troy Tulowitzki and Jose Bautista will be the captains for both leagues, and they will select who else will participate in that Home Run Derby in Minneapolis. Guys?
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. You're in a sea of red out there, Murph.
We are in a sea of red. We're sitting here with the Hatfield Quality Meat folks who, as we know, it's Happy Dollar Dog Day, is it not, gang, right? We got a couple dozen. It's These are actually the folks that make the hot dogs that we sell here at the ballpark and all over the Delaware Valley from the plant in Montgomery County. So we welcome them, and everyone's enjoying the hot dogs. I saw a couple of these guys eating hot dogs, so they don't even get tired of them. That's how good they are.
Were they concerned about Smiley getting pelted with a hot dog by the Fanatic earlier tonight?
Well, I'm sure they're looking after Smiley because we all worry about him. Yes, no doubt about it. But so far, so good on the Dollar Dog Night, and I know a lot of people are enjoying that tonight.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. Always appreciate the good folks from Hatfield Quality Meats. 0-2 to Evaldi, who tries to bunt. Evaldi tried to bunt earlier in the game and wound up going down on strikes.
It's kind of ironic that Batista is named the captain of the home run team, and he got hurt trying to bunt the other day in Cincinnati.
I saw that, yeah. Did you ever? You never participated in the home run derby at all, did you? Did you ever get invited to it?
No. I figured it wouldn't look good for a 5'9" guy to win it.
You would have set the table for everybody else. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I mean, I've been in home run contests.
I was going to say, you've been in the minor leagues, right?
Minor leagues, and back home in the senior baseball league last year, and went up against Jesse Barfield.
In his senior baseball home run? Did you beat him?
Of course. A little younger than he is.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Evaldi tries to bunt at it. They appeal. Yes, he wins. I think that's a good call.
That is the proper call right there.
And there are 2 outs.
But tell you what, with the home run contest, totally different. As you see the attempt of.
Oh, he definitely did. Yeah.
He probably would have hit a double if he would have made contact.
Well, Tony Randazzo's hearing it from somebody in the Phillies dugout. I believe, I could be wrong, but I think it's Larry Boa. I could be wrong, but somebody was yelling at him. I think because he needed help on that, but it's good that he did ask for it because it was pretty obvious. So now Marisnik, who is 0 for 3.
But with what I was saying with Tom about that home run contest, when you take the cage away, totally different.
I never thought about that.
It's like Linus and his blanket. You know, they take it away from him. When you step in there and that cage backs off, it's. I think your concentration level when the cage is around you, because you have to stay through it and drive the ball out of the cage. So you're really thinking about. But they're fun. And when people tell you when they do a home run contest and it ruins their swing, they're lying to you.
Really?
It doesn't.
It's funny you say that because Bobby Abreu was here tonight. You know, he was in the home run derby some years ago and didn't hit a whole lot of home runs the second half of the season. A lot of people said it was because of the home run derby.
No, it's because he hit 36 home runs or whatever it was in Detroit.
Yeah.
Now everyone knows he's got power, so they're going to pitch around him. That's my philosophy. That's how I look at it, and that's what I'm sticking with.
2 balls and no strikes to Marisnik. I like that you have a theory about that, though. One. Marisnik thought that was a little high. Tony Randazzo, the home plate umpire, the veteran. Over to Ryan Howard. Easy play. Easy pickings. Side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. It is time to stretch. Time to stretch the offense for the Phils. They're down 2-0. obviously is going to be a big story. It continues to be a big story. There are reports out of Cleveland that Jabari Parker will be taken by the Cavs, which means that Wiggins most likely will be taken by the Bucks, and that leaves the 3 spot where the Sixers sit. What will they do? We'll find out more a little later on Sports Night. Marlon Byrd will lead it off against Nate Eovaldi here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Eovaldi's only thrown 90 pitches.
Wiggins, a good old Canadian fella.
Yes, he is. Best Canadian basketball player that I saw was Andrew Nicholson, a St. Bonaventure from Mississauga, just south of Toronto. Went to the, I believe, the Orlando Magic. Now, I know I'm missing somebody, but that's the best one I saw in person.
Steve Nash is pretty good.
I never saw him in person.
Oh, there you go.
Pop up to the right side. Yeah, there's one away. These lucky fans are today's Citizens 7. They were to receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal, and that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank, good banking is good citizenship. Cody Ashe's the hitter. He's 2 for 2. 2 of the 5 hits for the Phils. Mike Dunn is the lefty in the bullpen. She fouls it over the Marlins dugout. Matt, as a hitter, has Eovaldi been that good tonight? I mean, I know you're not in the box, but you can usually have a sense for this stuff.
He's had good command of his fastball. He's hitting his spots. He gets away with pitches up in the zone when you're throwing 97 miles an hour. He's pitched well, and you know, me sitting here watching this game up here, watching on TV is very easy.
Yeah, but, no, that's what I mean. Yeah,
but when the guys, you know, drop that curveball on you after throwing a 97 mile an hour fastball, he's pitched a good game.
0-2 pitch, back toward the middle. Diving stop Lucas. No chance to get Ashe. He has 3 hits. And that brings the tying run to the plate and Dominic Brown.
It's just a good at bat by Cody. He's seeing the ball well. It's a 2-seamer blown away. It was actually a very good pitch. And he does a nice job of hitting the ball back into the middle. But Cody's setup since he's got back and before he got hurt is so quiet now, and he explodes with his hand and his swing to the ball.
Well, counting the games before he left and these few games he's come back, 16 for his last 39 in the big leagues with a home run and 9 RBIs. They're going to go to the lefty Mike Dunn with the lefties Dominic Brown and Ben Revere due up. So Nate Eovaldi's done after 6 1/3. So pitching change for the Marlins. Both teams are now into their bullpen. Phillies trail at 2-0. We'll be back right after this. fantastic post-game fireworks shows at Citizens Bank Park. This Thursday when the Marlins and the Phillies wrap up their series. Then Friday, Game 1 against the Braves. Game 3 on Saturday night at 7:15 start. That's the rescheduled game for the 15th of April. Order your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Nate Eovaldi's night is done. His line is not complete yet. He's responsible for Cody Ashe over at first base. So Mike Dunn, 35th ball game, 5-4, 3.81 ERA. Opposition's hitting .243 against him.
And what you're going to see from Mike, he's got a very good arm, tops out about 96 miles an hour. 3-pitch pitcher with a fastball, slider, and a curveball.
Phillies have gotten him a couple times during his career. They faced him a ton. No balls, 1 strike. Faced him with the Braves, then with the Marlins. Just challenging Dominic Brown right now. No balls and 2 strikes in his numbers against the Phillies. This is his 36th game against the Phillies. Ashe leads off first. Just one fastball after another. He's got his fastball up to 96. That's a little hotter than usual for him. Mayberry's waiting on deck. He may be used as a pinch hitter for Revere. The pitcher spot is up after Revere. He could be used in either spot. I think a lot depends on what Dominic Brown does right here. 1-2 pitch. Out of play. Remains 1-2. Tough hole. That's a pretty good pitch. Just off the outer edge. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brown.
It was a pretty good pitch, but even a better take. I don't know if he got fooled, but this is a situation here where you have Dominic Brown and Ben on deck, but you might not get another chance to bring up Mayberry to one swing of the bat, tie the game up.
Opposite way, flagged down by McGee. He'll go just to first to get the out. It's a smart play, and there are 2 outs. Smart play and a very good play. And Mayberry is going to pinch hit for Ben Revere. They do have a right-hander warming up. It was A.J. Ramos before.
And you're right, and this is a very nice play. One of the toughest balls for a third baseman is those balls hit off the left-handed bat coming at you. Because it gets on you so quick as you stay inside of it, but he made a very nice play to his left. And like you said, very smart play by throwing to first base.
All right, so Mayberry's going to pinch hit. Let's see what Mike Redmond does. He does have the righty available. And here he comes. So he will indeed make a pitching change. So they'll go righty on righty here with John Mayberry coming up. Announces a pinch hitter. Second pitching change of the inning for the Marlins. Runner at second base. 2 men down. We'll be back right after this. delivery of the game. This player should be a Hyundai defensive play of the game. I'll get it right after all these years. This was a big one for Roberto Hernandez.
It was, and McGee hits the ball to center field, and Revere makes a nice diving catch. Doubles up Stanton at second base. By the way, Ben Revere's first assist of the year, and it came at a big time for Hernandez. You see how happy he is here right now. So that is your defensive play of the game, brought to you by Hyundai.
Oh boy. At least one of us got it right. All right, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th inning. A.J. Ramos is the pitcher. Ramos, 2.36 ERA into his 37th ball game. So Mayberry will pinch hit. Mayberry's been the Phillies' best pinch hitter. Runner at second base. 0-1 the count to Mayberry. For 17 as a pinch hitter. He does have 3 pinch hit home runs. Up high, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And I like the move. A lot of people might think, why are you taking Ben out versus the left-hander who has good numbers? But like we said earlier, this is a situation where he has a chance to tie the ball game up, and you might not get a chance to use him again the rest of the game.
I agree. I thought there was a point yesterday in the game against the Cardinals where Marlon Byrd could have pinch hit for Ben Revere. They decided not to. Marlon pinch hit later on, but they had a chance to do it in that ball game. Here's Marlon. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Mayberry. Runner at second base. Phillies down 2-0. Swing and a miss. He got it. Side is retired. No runs, 1 hit. 1 man left. 3 different pitchers for the Marlins. We'll go to the 8th. It's still 2-0.
I don't have a chin beard.
Well, you fixed that to him. I was like, I didn't mean to.
That's okay. It's baseball. You're trying to get me out.
There you go. Hold on. Why don't you do contact?
Hey, that looks just like me hitting.
Well, that's A.J. Burnett playing video games on the big old Fanavision earlier today. It was part of the Phillies charities auction. Earlier this year, he got a chance to bid for a chance to play video games with A.J. Burnett. That's Max on the right, Ari on the left, and they had a good time, and so did A.J. You can see more of that on the Phillies' big Sunday show this Sunday. It's kind of funny watching the kids. They're up in the first base side, up in the Hall of Fame club. And you can see from the Walt Whitman Bridge, they were testing the video game earlier today as I came in, and it was as clear as day. AJ's making fun of the beard that they had him with in that game. John Mayberry stays in the ballgame to play center field. Derek Dietrich to the right side. Utley throw him out, one away.
Well, you had the two little kids and you had the big kid playing. Because I can guarantee he's played a lot of video games.
There is no doubt about that. There's the beard he's talking about. It's kind of funny. That's Adrian Gonzalez walking past him. That looks a little bit like Adrian Gonzalez. Apparently AJ was brushing the kid's back, and he was warned by the umpires during the video game. Lifelike. Mario Hollins is done. Justin DeFreitas is about to commit to the ball game for the Phillies. One man down here in the top of the 8th. Phillies trail at 2-0. We'll be back right after this. Brought to you by Nissan. Get to your local Nissan store for the ride of your life and save big today. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Well, the Marlins scored 2 runs in the first inning, and that was it. So now, with one man down at the top of the 8th inning, the Phillies bullpen is trying to keep this at a 2-run deficit. We'll turn it over to Justin DeFreitas, who's been very good since being brought back up from the minor leagues. 16 strikeouts overall and 17 1/3. And he will face Giancarlo Stanton with nobody on. Stanton was hit by a pitch in the first and wound up scoring on the double by Casey McGee. The 2-run double by McGee. And he's hit by a pitch again. So Stanton's been hit by a pitch twice tonight.
He didn't mean anything by it, huh? He said you like it.
Well, if you're going to get hit by a spot, that's where you want to get plunked. It's supposed to get 2-seamer inside that. Yeah, that's what we're going to say inside.
I think it had a batting glove or a protector in that pocket too, and the ball hit that protector or that area. The natural protector. Casey McGee is 1 for 3. Flight out to center twice. Up high, 1 ball and no strikes.
Tom, I got to believe if there's a ground ball for double play, either Jimmy or Chase better turn it quick.
Yeah, because he does move fast, and he's a big man. Well, that was a pretty good pitch. They say no swing. That looked like it could have been a strike. 2 balls, no strikes. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire, the opposition 1, 2, 3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Three balls and no strikes. Jared Saltalamacchia in the on-deck circle. Out of play, and it's 3-1. Casey McGee with 46 RBIs now. 46 RBIs with 1 home run. The MLB record for most RBIs with fewest home runs. Back in 1912, Bill Sweeney had 1 home run and 100 RBIs. He's got pop too. We saw that when he was with the Brewers. Fly ball right center field. Bird on the run out toward the scoreboard. He's not going to get it. It's off the board, picked up by Mayberry. Stanton at third. He'll be held there, and it's the second double of the night for McGee. And that puts runners on second and third. He did hit the ball hard the other way.
He drove the ball to right field, got in a hitter's count 3-1, but Marlon Byrd went after this ball extremely hard and then crushed into that fence out in right center, right field. This is going to bang his knee up, or
his knee, his arm, everything.
Poor fence.
Bob McClure out to the mound. This is a tough spot now with runners on second and third in a 2-0 game here in the top of the 8th. Antonio Bastardo continues to throw in the Phillies bullpen. Kevin Gregg, the veteran, is throwing in the Marlins pen. And now they're going to put Saltalamacchia on. So the bases are going to be loaded for Marcell Ozuna. It'll be the second walk of the night for Saltalamacchia. I guess this is the right move, thinking that you got to get a force play here at any base and try to turn a double play. Breaking ball in there. Over to shortstop. Rollins has got it. Flips to second for one. Over to first. In time. A 6-4-3 double play. Ground ball at the right time. And the inning comes to a close. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's still a 2-run ball game. The Phillies offense. Another chance when we return. At 2-0 to the Miami Marlins. This is game 1 of this 4-game series. The Phillies family lost a very dear friend earlier today. Ed Smith, who was the director of breeders here at Citizens Bank Park, passed away at the age of 76. Ed had been on a leave of absence for this entire year. He started with the Phillies in April of 1982 and spent 31 years with the Phillies organization. Back in 2007, he celebrated his 25th anniversary with the Philadelphia Phillies. Ed was a great guy, and anybody that knew him knew what a great guy he was. And our condolences go out to Ed's family during this time. And we thank you for allowing him to be part of our family for so many years. Cesar Hernandez will pinch hit for the Phils here at the bottom of the 8th inning. Kevin Gregg, 3rd game with the Marlins, 2nd tour of duty with the Fish. 1 ball and 1 strike. One ball and 2 strikes. Fans getting on Randazzo a little bit. Well, that's not a stat the Phillies want to see continue. Inside, 3-2. Had several occasions tonight where they've gotten the leadoff batter aboard, or at least a base runner aboard, not the leadoff batter, but the base runner aboard to bring the tying run to the plate. Inside, ball 4. Hernandez is aboard, so the leadoff batter is aboard for the first time since the 3rd. Time now for our AT&T fan photo of the game, and this one provided by Jason Bazone. Memorial Day fun here at the ballpark. Thank you, Jason, for sending in that picture. Tonight's photo was captured before the ball game when Jimmy Rollins was honored for his base hit last week here at home against the Cubs, becoming the all-time hit leader in Phillies history. He takes a breaking ball for a strike. This has become a wider strike zone, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, it has. I mean, I thought actually the last pitch to Hernandez had a chance to be a strike inside, but it has. It's opened up the last few innings, that's for sure.
No balls, 1 strike to Rollins. Swing and a miss. Out front. Floater down the left field line. Ozuna, he gets to it in foul territory, and there's one away.
All right, Carlos, what do you say?
5 putouts for Ozuna. And now Carlos Ruiz will be the hitter. Carlos is 0 for 3. He's lined out and he's hit into a double play. Fly to left his last time up. Kevin Gregg doesn't have to jump on his fastball the way he used to, but he was a closer.
That last pitch, the cut fastball, is a pitch you never used to see from him. He was always 95, 94, but had a tremendous split finger fastball. And now he tops out about 91 miles an hour, and he relies on pitching instead of throwing.
That one's pulled toward the hole. Flagged down by Lucas on 1 up. What a play. What a double play by the Marlins. Well, that is outstanding defense right there by a guy who is not the everyday shortstop for the Miami Marlins. A 6-4-3 double play. First to get to this ball on that bad hop and then to be able to spin and start the double play. Marlins getting a little bit of defense here in the 8th inning. The Subway winning box score, and the Miami Marlins scored 2 runs in the first inning, and that's basically it. Casey McGee's got 2 doubles, including the 2-run double back in the first. Giancarlo Stanton has scored a run. He's been hit by 2 pitches. He's only been hit by 1 pitch prior to this tonight, but hit by 2 pitches here tonight. And the Marlins lead it 2-0 as we go to the top of the 9th inning. And Antonio Bastardo is going to take over on the mound. Same story as Mario Holland. Same story as Justin DeFreitas. Keep this at a 2-run ball game. As Steve Cishek is starting to loosen up in the pen for the Marlins. So Bastardo 4-3, an ERA of 2.86. Matt, this offensive drought for the Phillies is now at 20 innings. No runs in 20 innings here at Citizens Bank Park.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's the type of hitters that we have. Ryan Howard's power, Marlon Bird, the way he's been swinging the bat. I learned a long time ago you could never figure out this game.
Well, they better figure it out soon.
Copy that.
Jeff Baker will pinch hit for the Marlins. 4 for 18 on the year as a pinch hitter. It'll be Baker, then Lucas, and then a pinch hitter, probably Reed Johnson. Swing and a miss. Instead of Garrett Jones, they decide to go with Jeff Baker here. Baker overall hitting .210, 2 home runs, 12 runs batted in.
So is Baker a better first baseman than Jones?
I don't think so. That's a good question. You're up by 2.
Yeah, you're up by 2. You let your left-hander hit and keep your best defense in.
That's a good point. Look at dirt. That got Ruiz's arm. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Or I should say 1 ball and 2 strikes. Second base, Chase Utley. Throw is low, and Baker is safe. I don't know if the ball slipped out of Utley's hand or not. It was a short hop that Ryan Howard couldn't handle, but it was still a short hop. Oh, look how that ball just dropped. And Howard just couldn't hang on. That should be an E4. And that's the 5th error of the season for Chase. And now Ed Lucas. Lucas is 1 for 3. By the way, that batter that he just faced, Jeff Baker, he reaches base on the error. Bastardo had retired 27 of the last 28 hitters that he had faced. Remember how rough it had gone for him, where he just couldn't command anything. 1 ball, 1 strike to Lucas. Runner goes, pitch is taken for a ball, and throw to second. Nobody was covering. Rollins got there late. I don't know who was supposed to cover in that spot. You would think it would have been the second baseman, would have been Chase, right?
Yeah, I think actually it got crossed up in the signs when Church will go down and give signs. The second baseman and the shortstop will look at each other and give you a sign of who's covering. And I'm not really sure what happened. Jimmy kind of looked at Chase right after the play and miscommunication.
2 balls and 1 strike now to Lucas with a runner at second and nobody out. Lucas bunts. It's a good bunt. It'll at least get the runner to third, and now everybody's safe. So the Phillies, who have played such good baseball over the last handful of games, defensively, fundamentally, are sort of unraveling here in the 9th inning. They made their first error in their last 10 games in this inning. The error by Chase Utley. And now Bastardo was late to get to the ball and then couldn't get the ball out of his glove.
Yeah, I don't think if he would have got it out, he would have had a chance anyway. But it was kind of interesting to see that Cody Ashley, with not out, man on second base, was playing so deep at third base as well.
So Reed Johnson will pinch hit with runners on first and third and nobody out. Well, looks like they have given Bastardo an error on that. It's the second error of the inning, a sacrifice E1.
Well, I guess the official score didn't agree with me. I thought it was going to be a bang-bang play if he would have got it out quicker.
Nah, not everybody can agree with you, buddy. It happens. Phillies will play the infield in with runners on first and third. Swing and a miss. 0-1. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. The Blue Jays defeated the Yankees 8-3. Adam Lind had a home run, 4 RBIs for the Jays in that one. The Yankees took it to the Jays last week, but Toronto still leads the division by 2 over the Orioles, 2.5 over the Yankees.
They took it to them last week and last year.
Yeah.
They're 0 for last 15 in New York. Toronto is.
Little tapper foul, 0-2. Risnick is in the on-deck circle. Kenny Giles is warming up in the bullpen for the Phils. There's Giles. No balls, 2 strikes. Good play by Ruiz. Everybody stays. Lucas at first. And Baker at third. Figured he had to call time eventually. One ball and 2 strikes to Johnson. Overall hitting .274. A couple home runs, 17 runs batted in. Fly ball, shallow left field. Long run for Dominic Brown. Coming in, and he can't get it. He plays it on a hop. And everybody's safe. A run will score. It's 3-0 Miami. I thought he was going to catch that ball running in.
Yeah, I did too.
He pulled up at the last moment for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Reed hits it off the end of the bat.
I think he could have caught that ball. Well, I don't know. I think he just misread it where it was, honestly, because it looked like where that ball dropped with his gallop that he'd be able to just come in, turn his glove.
Well, the way it looked from here, I thought he was taking the little baby steps to come up and get behind the ball and throw.
That's what I thought.
Runner at home, please.
Well, the Phillies, as we said, have unraveled in this inning defensively. Marisnik shows bunt, takes a strike. It's 0-1. The error by Utley, the error by Bastardo. The ball that just dropped in front of Don Brown. And it's 3-0. Miami's on top. I mean, you know better than anybody, Matt. You kind of have to run through the ball.
Right.
And he wouldn't have tagged up if he had caught that ball. He was just too close. And he's got too good of an arm, and they know that. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Butler with a few words of advice. Son, if I could bunt it for you, I would. He was a great bunter.
He was.
Bunts it in the air and into the Diamond Club. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Phillies trail at 3-0. The Marlins scored 2 in the first. They've added 1 here in the 9th inning. Inside, 2-2. Balls, 2 strikes, and the pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. 1 out here in the 9th inning. It'll bring Derek Dietrich to the plate. Dietrich is 1 for 4. He singled and scored in the first inning. This has been a flat game, not one that I think anybody expected based on the way the Phillies played on this road trip. In the dirt, 1 ball and no strikes. Bastardo trying to bear down here.
Kind of interesting to see Mike Redmond trying to get Marisnik to bunt there. Left-handed hitter coming up next. Takes the bat out of Stanton's hands, knowing that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
3-0 lead.
Trying to add 1 more.
Which I understand, but I mean, you got the second and third, then you'd have a left-hander hitting. If he doesn't get the job done, well, you're taking the bat right out of Stanton's hand.
1 ball and no strikes now to Dietrich. Pulls that one past the diving Ryan Howard into right field. Around third, heading for home is Lucas. He'll score. It's now 4-0 in favor of the Marlins. Well, this has pushed it out of a save situation. And now Ryan Sandberg is coming out. And he's going to go to Kenny Giles with Giancarlo Stanton coming up. And the balls are right on the nose by Dietrich.
Yeah, nice effort by Ryan Howard right there, and just out of the reach of his glove.
So a pitching change here at Citizens Bank Park. The Marlins have tacked on a couple of runs. 1 man down. Here comes Kenny Giles. Here in the top of the 9th inning. A Chase Utley error, his own error, and then a ball that dropped in front of Don Brown in left field. And now Kenny Giles is going to come on. Giles trying to stop the bleeding here with runners on first and third and 1 man down. Giles' 5th ball game, a 2.08 ERA, and he's coming in to get a strikeout here. This is power on power against Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton has been hit by a pitch twice tonight. He's singled. He's also walked. Runners lead off first and third. Slider off the outside corner. 1 ball, no strikes. High fastball, and it's 1-1.
There you go, buddy. What do you think, Ken? See 101.
Figure Giles got some juice coming in facing Giancarlo Stanton here. First couple fastballs, 97, 98. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Stay with the same pitch fastball, just up in the zone again.
Fastball in, 99 on that one. And it's 2-2.
Giancarlo, you scared now? Gian.
Came back with a slider.
Getting that 101.
Swing and a miss. He got it with a slider. 2 outs here in the 9th inning. Well, he was gearing up for that fastball, and Giles just drops the slider on him.
Stanton's almost thinking there's no way he's going to throw back-to-back sliders. And like you said, Tom, he geared up for that fastball. And actually, this slider was in the left-handed batter's box. But a good fastball will do that to hitters. Keep you off balance.
So 2 away. Here's McGee. McGee is doubled twice tonight. Fastball a little low.
How's that look, Chase? Let me know. No, I want to know, period. Casey, tell me. Casey, I'm talking to you.
1 ball and 1 strike. The Phillies' 9th inning, it'll be Utley, Howard, and Bird. Those are the scheduled hitters against the Marlins bullpen. Cishek had been warming up. They sat him down. He lays off the slider. Funny, you can hear a little kid say, it was 86 miles an hour. I mean, everybody gets caught up in the velocity of Kenny Giles.
Well, I won't lie, I do. I want to see 100 again.
I keep picking. I keep peeking. I keep peeking. 2 balls, 1 strike. I think with each passing outing, if Giles can continue to have success, his confidence is going to grow more and more.
Especially if you can repeat that pitch right there at 84 miles an hour and throwing a very nice breaking ball.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Elevate the fastball right here.
Fastball went down low, and now it's 3-2. So the runner on first will be off and running. That's Derek Dietrich. Swing and a miss. He got him. 99 on that fastball. Back-to-back strikeouts for Giles. The side is retired, but 2-run score. Last chance for the Phils. Utley, Howard, and Bird to start it off. Bank Park. Time now for your W.B. Mason delivery of the game.
Well, let's get back in the first inning with the fastball right down the middle of the plate. McGee drives the ball to right field. And Dietrich comes across, and Stanton's coming right behind him. Give an early lead 2-0 in the top of the first. that is your delivery of the game, brought to you by WB Mason.
Well, and it turns out it's all the Marlins have needed. Now they've tacked on 2 more in the 9th inning, 2 unearned runs. Jeff Baker takes over at first base. Chris Hatcher's the new pitcher for the Marlins. A 3.86 ERA, so he's on in a non-save situation. Cishak sat down. Phillies made 2 errors in the 9th inning. There was another ball hit toward Dominic Brown that should have been caught. And 2 runs crossed the plate for Miami. This is game 1 of this 4-game series. And Utley will start it off. Hatcher's fastball can get to the mid-90s. Utley's 0 for 3. Marlins bullpen has been somewhat inconsistent aside from really Cishek. He's been the best. First pitch is a strike.
Which is hard to believe, because if you look down their whole bullpen, besides Greg, who throws 91, everyone else tops out about 96, 97.
Low, ball 1. Yeah, they've got some good arms out there. One ball, 1 strike to Utley. 2 balls and 1 strike. If this does happen to get into a save situation, and Cishak's not going to take too long to get himself loosened up. Utley fouls it away.
Chase's timing's off just a hair right now.
I totally agree. He gets that way from time to time.
He does.
Inside. Now, for the most part this year, I mean, there have been, let's say, a 10-day period or 7-day period where his timing's off a little bit. He hasn't been in a long, drawn-out drought. He's figured it out, which he normally does. And a liner out towards center field. That's going to hang up there. So that would have hit right on the nose. Went away. Coming up after this ball game is Phillies post-game live. It's presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Ben can spend the entire show talking about that 9th inning. He'll also talk about Roberto Hernandez's outing tonight. Roberto battled through 6 tonight, allowed the 2 runs in the first. Again, it's coming up right after this one comes to a close. Ryan Howard is 1 for 3. He's flied out twice. He's singled to right. Ground ball right side. He got out front of a changeup. And in this case, Hatcher's changeup is a split. And there are 2 outs. Phillies have not scored in 20 innings, straight innings here at Citizens Bank Park. Tonight was Faith and Family Night, and fans had faith coming in after this road trip. But it's been kind of a quiet night. Ball, no strikes. Two balls, no strikes. That's the feeling all around the ballpark. Phillies are now down to their final strike. It's 2-2 to Marlon Byrd. She's on deck. On the scoreboard, it's a light night around baseball, but Washington is shutting out Milwaukee still 3-0. 3-2 to Marlin. Broke his bat. A floater out to right. Stanton is there, makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Phillies go down in order in their half of the 9th inning. The Phils have been shut out for the 10th time this year as they lose the opener of this homestand by a final of 4-0. Well, Giancarlo Stanton and the rest of the Miami Marlins came in somewhat struggling during the month of June. They were 9-11. Not a whole lot of offense. They were hitting just .235. They didn't have a whole lot of offense here tonight. But in the 9th inning, the Phillies certainly helped them along. And our Chevrolet player of the game, well, he rode the 2 runs that were scored in the 1st inning basically to the victory here tonight. Yeah,
that's all he needed early in the game. He was very good with a fastball down in the zone. It just seemed like the whole night he was establishing his fastball, had a very good curveball. Was getting ground balls, a lot of fly balls tonight.
A lot of fly balls, yep.
Did he have his best stuff? No. But when you go out there and you hit your spots and you're putting up goose eggs and not walking a whole lot of guys, you only walk one guy throughout the game. That is why you become the player of the game, brought to you by Chevy.
Chevrolet player of the game, Nate Eovaldi, picks up the victory here tonight. He's now 5-3. The Phillies lose it 4-0. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.